So I'm back. Today I want to talk about prison, what it was like, kind of what I went through in there, and how I was feeling when I got out. Um, so first I went to county jail, and I sat there for a while. Somewhere between 3 and 6 months. When I got sentenced, the jail time was also included in my time served. Thank God. But I'm here to tell you that jail time is no joke compared to prison time. Um, the part of my plea agreement was that I could have my baby before they shipped me off to prison. So I stayed in jail and had my baby here, and Kenny came and picked her up from the hospital. Um, that was probably one of the worst things and the hardest things I've ever done in my life, is to carry a baby to term and then get to hold her for 3 days in the hospital. And I even nursed her a little bit so at least she would get my immunities, even though I knew it would be painful when my milk came in. But I figured I could do that much for her. Um, so my water broke in my cell, and the guards thought I was kidding. I had to push the button a bunch of times, and finally they listened to me, and they came and got me in a wheelchair and put me in an ambulance and took me over to the hospital. And I did something for that baby that I was never able to do before or again. Decided that since I was high for the first month or two of her life, and I didn't know it, and I felt like an ass about it, I birthed her with no drugs at all, no painkillers, no epidural. I went completely natural with her, and it was hell. It was the hardest thing I ever did. It was terrible. It was not the labor pains, it was the searing, burning, tearing when she was being pushed out. That was an issue. But she was beautiful. Her name is Heaven Sapphire. And Kenny came in, picked her up, like I said, and she stayed a lot with her grandparents. Kenny eventually moved out of his parents' house and got together with a rebound girl and had a couple of kids with her along the way. But Heaven ended up staying with the grandparents because that's where she was happy. They're wonderful people. They brought her up right, and that's my baby that's in college right now. So, anyways, after I had her, I was pretty tore up when they brought me back into the jail. Couldn't talk to anyone for a couple of days. I was not doing okay for a few days, but I decided that if anything I could do for her, I could make a decision to get my life together. The time they sentenced me, I knew what I was in for. I was looking at basically 3 to 10 years total, plus 3 years parole, plus another 4 years probation consecutive for that, which they're not really supposed to do, but they did it anyways. So I was on paper for a long time when I did get out, which was fine at that point in time in my life. I was doing pretty good. But prison, when I went to it, I didn't know what to expect. You have the fish tank and you sit there for 30 days and you can't be in general population. You're just kind of locked down. But they let you smoke in prison, or they did when I went, but not in the fish tank. I acted like I hadn't just been, pregnant and then sitting in county for months. We figured out how to get cigarettes snuck into us in intake in the fish tank, and we had some lighters hidden in interesting places, and also we figured out how to pop the socket and light a wad of fluff from a maxi pad on fire and light cigarettes that way, hiding in our cells. So it was an adventure to say the least. When I got out of intake, they automatically assign you a job, and then you can change jobs as you go. depending on qualifications and whatnot, but everybody gets a job. What having a job does, it starts working time off the back part of your sentence, so that when you go before the parole board, instead of you're sitting at like a 3 to 10, if you manage to work time off, then you're sitting at a 3 to 8, or you have a better chance of making parole when you're sitting like that. So they gave me the job of cleaning the showers, and it was terrible and disgusting, and people put boogers on the wall and used tampons. They would lift up the mats in the shower and put them in under there because they're too lazy to just throw them away before they want to take a shower. Like, just disgusting. And I'm a really clean person. It was terrible. And the showers were shut down for a certain period of the day while they got cleaned. So I marched into the sergeant's office and I told him, I'm not cleaning the showers unless you let me take a shower right after. So at least I got me some private shower time for the first month I was there. But then I kind of made friends with a girl named Jessica. And Jessica was a beautiful soul. She was, when she was 21 years old, she was coming back from, she was a stripper, but she was working her way through college at the time. And she was coming back from either work or a party or something. She had weed in her system, but she was not high on anything else. She fell asleep at the wheel, and the state had a work crew with underage kids cleaning up the freeway, which they're not supposed to do. When I did community service, I didn't touch the freeway. They're supposed to have you at venues and stuff where there's safety, not on the freeway. But she fell asleep, and I think it was 5 kids that she basically plowed through in her sleep. It's a sad, sad story, and she ended up getting 18 years for involuntary vehicular manslaughter. But I don't think, like, in my life, there's a shortage of really, truly beautiful souls that you come across, and she was one of them. She spent her time in there trying to better people's lives and help them. And she noticed that there was only one art class there, and the teacher was kind of an ass. She would order people to do what she said. She couldn't even draw hands on people. So we got to talking, and because she'd already been there for some time, she had some pull with the sergeants, and she got me a job as an art teacher in the big prison, which was fun. I got to work time off the back of my sentence by teaching people what I love to do. And it was an amazing kind of experience. And again, prison is a terrible place, but you can come across a gem in there. People make mistakes, and there are people whose lives deserve to be saved. And you realize that when you're sitting in there. There's also terrible people, like one beautiful, gorgeous girl got fisted on the yard, and we got to witness that, and that was just one of the lowest points of my entire life. Let me just tell you, it's still burned into my memory. It just goes to show that looking at somebody, you just never know what they're all about until you take the time to get to know a person. I also met Annie in prison, and she is still my friend to this day. We've had a falling out or two over the years, but we've also been really close over the years as well. She's done a lot to influence my life as far as that goes, and I want to give her a few props because, again, we managed to stay in touch and kind of stick together when we got out, and that was really helpful too. But she was my first cellmate. She saw me sitting on the wall, terrified, like, who are they going to stick me with? She's like, I want her right there. And she picked me out of the lineup. First thing she ever said to me was, "Hi, I'm Annie. If you want private poop time, just let me know and I'll leave." It was hilarious. Private poop time is a thing. When you get in a cell, there's a toilet just sitting there, and it's really hard to poop with someone making eye contact with you, I promise you. Anyways, so after the big prison, I qualified for camp. My crimes were not violent. My violent crimes were dismissed, so I was allowed to go to camp. Camp was a lot easier time as far as prison goes, the time passed faster. Um, I was on the NDF crew. I have scoliosis, so I didn't have to do like the fire crew. I wasn't expected to pass the pack test or anything, but we went on and we got to clean up trash, and we went to the water district, and we actually had a good time on those days. We got our work done early, and then they would let us screw around. You know, we sat and ate lunch. We got in a water fight with fire hoses once at the water district. I mean, we had a lot of fun. Me and Annie, when we were locked down for 24 hours once, decided we needed clean underwear. So we decided to wash our own. And so we took the bag out of the trash can. It's all clean in there. And we figured out the way the sinks are. If you plug the holes where the water comes out, it will shoot out the top in a kind of a fountain. So she plugged the holes and shot the water, and I caught it in the bucket. We ended up getting in a big soapy water fight. And when they unlocked our cell, a flood came out of it. We didn't even get in trouble. They just laughed at us and told us to clean it up. So again, you know, when you behave yourself in there, you kind of just stay under the radar, and it's basically like being in high school. It really is. Camp had like a pool table and a open library, so you could go to the actual full library instead of, you know, picked out books on a cart like in the prison. You go to the law library in the prison, but the other library had limited access. And so again, you know, things to make your life easier are there. But the worst thing is just, you're on pause. The rest of the world is going on, and you're like a movie sitting on pause. Your life has stopped until you get out, and then you have to take it back up where you left off and figure it out and get it all together. And that's probably the most challenging part. I did almost get in one fight in prison. I kept to myself in the big prison. I minded my own business. People would hit me up a lot because they found out I could draw. So I had a lot of stuff. The only person that put any money on my books at all was my dad, just for the record. Whenever he could afford to, he put a little bit there, but the rest I had to do on my own. And when you can draw, it's basically currency in there. And so I was walking by right after I took a shower. I was still cleaning them. I'd been there about 3 weeks, and they were testing me to see, because I was quiet to myself. They always want to know if you're going to snitch them out, if you catch them doing something, or if you're going to walk away. So they tested me. This big, huge girl, I mean, a foot taller than me minimum, approached me. Now, I was in a bra and panties and a towel wrapped around my waist and a shower bag with my shower stuff on my shoulder. And I was walking back to my cell, and she goes, "It's about time you're taking a shower. First time I've seen you take a shower since you've been here." And she'd already made a whole bunch of snide comments, and I was walking away, and I finally got tired of it. I threw my bag down, got up in her face. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die today. Or I'm going to the hole, or I'm going to die and then go to the hole. And I got it in her face, and I told her, I was like, you know what? I don't care if you whoop the shit out of me. I do not care. I'm done with it. I'm not putting up with no more shit from you. I said a lot of other choice things that I'm not allowed to say. Well, I am allowed to say, but I probably would be classier if I didn't say to her. So, and she backed down. Surprisingly enough, I thought I was dying that day. She backed down. She said, "Hey, you don't have to get that serious." Her friend comes and pulls me to the side, and after that, she literally sought me out on the yard and helped me pose for a picture. You could do like Polaroids and stuff. You get like these little coupons for pictures. You can send them out. And she helped me pose for a picture and everything after that. So again, it's all a mind game. The whole place is a mind game. You don't really know what people, what their intentions are towards you. It's better to stay to yourself whenever you can, but you have to stand up for yourself also, or they'll walk all over you. And I learned that real fast. But I did have some good times in there too. And again, I learned to enjoy people in a closed setting without being high, which was a big tool that I took with me to the outside world. Now I ended up doing about 2.5 years in there, and 2 3/4 years maybe, and I got out on an early release program, drug court program. Early release drug court is no joke. It took a lot to get out. My dad actually pulled some strings for me on the outside to get me on that program. Um, and that's where I'm going to leave off today. I'll tell you how it was in drug court and what happened next. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a long one, so it's going to take a little bit to download. Don't forget, like and subscribe, share like crazy. I really appreciate you, all you guys who come back repeatedly and tune in and support me. I just want to grow, and anything that we can do to do that along the way, I am up for opinions, ideas, whatever you guys got. Okay. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow.